It doesn't matter if you're living in Wisconsin, if you've visited Wisconsin, or you've driven through Wisconsin just going someplace else. I would bet there's at least one thing that you love about this state. Welcome back to another episode of Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. I am your host, Jason. And I don't know about you, if your house is anything like my house, it is full of Christmas spirit. We've got our tree up, we've got lights on the house, we get Christmas cards sent here for almost daily now, and it's really just full of that holiday cheer. But the one thing that I really enjoy most right now is that my daughters have been practicing for their piano recital coming up for the last about 2 months now. And my middle child is just starting out playing piano this year, and she picked the song Away in the Manger, which is really kind of cute how she's been getting better at it week after week. But my oldest child, she decided to pick My Favorite Things from The Sound of Music. And that really got me thinking about my favorite things about the state of Wisconsin. And that's what we're going to talk about today on the podcast. The first thing on my list of my favorite things about Wisconsin has to be the Four Seasons. I know I've talked about this before, but I think it's something that is so important to our state is the fact that we get to experience all 4 seasons. Think about this. If you live in the southern United States, you don't experience winter the way we experience winter. You don't get that cool down in the fall to the cold of winter to the warm up to the spring and the summer. And because we experience all those things, we get all of the perks of each season. Think about it. We get, wintertime we're going ice fishing, we're doing all our activities. It's springtime, everybody gets excited about gardening and planting and going fishing when the waters are open. And then in the summertime, we got festivals, we've got, all the things that we do in the summer, because it's short, so we got to jam a lot of things in there. And then, of course, fall, we get the harvest. We got all the beautiful colors of the trees. And I think that's such a neat thing that we can claim here in Wisconsin, that we experience all 4 seasons and we know how to enjoy each season. And I think it's really important that we make sure we get out there and experience each of these seasons and really appreciate what they have to offer us. Next on my list is got to be Wisconsin state park systems. Again, it's something that I talk about a lot. Is something that I'm going to keep talking about a lot because I think our state park system has a lot to offer us living here and people who come and visit Wisconsin. And I think one of the great things about our state park system is the fact that they're all over our state. So no matter where you live, you're actually pretty close to a state park. I'm just thinking myself right now, I've got 2 of them that are within 20 minutes of me. That's pretty cool that we can travel a short distance and be in one of our state parks. And what I really love about our state parks is how well maintained they are, how everyone's really friendly when you go there, and they're great to visit any time of year. I mean, if you've got a favorite state park and you're only visiting it in the summertime, you're going to miss out on some of those things that change during the fall, winter, and spring. So make it a point to get to your state parks all year long and see what's really different about them. I can't stress enough how great our state park systems are in Wisconsin, and it's something that you should not be missing out on. My next favorite thing about Wisconsin has to be the amount of festivals and fairs that we have during the summer. I mean, these things really become a way of life for people who live in Wisconsin. Think about it. Whether you're going to Summerfest or you're attending one of the many county fairs throughout the state, they are all over the place. And what I think is really special about a lot of these events is how long they've been going. We've got some fairs in this state that are over 100, almost 150 years old. I mean, think of how long that has been and how long we've been able to sustain these events year after year after year. And I'm not talking just about the big ones. I'm also talking about all these little small festivals that all these little communities have year after year after year. I really think it's such a testament to these communities that they show their pride by putting these festivals together. It takes a lot to put them together, and the least we can do is go out there and celebrate with them, and we do. And I think that's so cool and so great that's one of the things that I think that's really special in Wisconsin, that we keep these things going year after year after year. I never get enough of seeing 4-H projects at fairs or going to a tractor pull at some local festival, and of course, you can't deny eating all the fair food. There's just something really special about Wisconsin having all these fairs and festivals. Again, whether it's Summerfest, whether it's the state fair, or whether it's a county fair, they're all over the state. They happen pretty much all summer long, and it's really something that I enjoy going to year after year. I think the one thing that's probably the highest on my list is Wisconsin's diverse landscape. This is one of those things that we as Wisconsinites who live here every day and see it every day, I think we take this for granted a little bit. Think about it like this. When you're out traveling out of state, going to someplace on vacation or whatever, and you see something new for the first time, and you're just kind of in awe of the way it looks, and everything's just kind of got that special feel to it because you're seeing it for the first time. And you kind of get that as you keep traveling. You keep traveling, you're seeing more things, and you just keep saying, wow, this is really beautiful. I can't believe, I'd love to live here. And when you come home, you drive back home, you fly back home, whatever it is, you get back into Wisconsin and things look familiar and they look like home. It's home. And I think that we take that for granted just a little bit because we forget how special Wisconsin's landscape really is and really how diverse it is. And I'll be the first to say I do this. I mean, I drive the same route pretty much every day to work. Unless there's something special going on where, you got your fall colors or something, you kind of take that landscape for granted and what it really is showing you and what it really represents. I think we really got to take a step back sometimes and look at our surroundings and really appreciate that again. When I'm talking about the diversity of our landscape, I want you to think about it for a second. We've got beaches, Lake Michigan, you got the beaches of Lake Michigan, Superior, and all the beaches that are probably on lakes where you might be swimming and stuff like that. And then if you're talking about lakes, think of this. We have more lakes than our neighbors to the west. So we're pretty fortunate to have that. And then, of course, you've got, all the bluffs along the Mississippi River down in that Coulee region, La Crosse area. Then if you drive northern Wisconsin, over 1.5 million acres of Chequamegon National Forest. And then, of course, don't forget all the waterfalls in this state. I mean, there's waterfalls all over, and they're just beautiful. And then, of course, you got the Wisconsin Dells, all the things that you can see in the Dells. Wisconsin has basically a landscape for whatever mood, activity, or adventure you're up for doing. And then you can't forget about all the beautiful farmland and some of the rolling hills that we have in some parts of the state. So we really have a lot of things to offer, and I think we sometimes forget that. I think we sometimes forget to just look at where we are sitting or where we're driving or where we're walking and looking at it and taking it in and going and appreciating it. That's the key word, appreciating the landscape that we live in. I mean, we live in a beautiful state, and I don't want us to take that for granted. So the next time you're out there walking or just going for a drive or you're, canoeing down a river, man, take that in because we are so fortunate to have something so beautiful right in our backyards and so easily accessible. I mean, it truly is probably my most favorite thing about this state, where you can go anywhere in the state, see different landscape all over the place. I just don't want us to take that for granted. And I want that to be something that you start appreciating and looking at. Remind people what is so special about this state and what's so great about this state. It's that diverse landscape that we have that not many other states can say that they have. All right, this next one, I think we don't get enough credit for in this state at all. And it's the fact that we make winter fun. Plain and simple, we make winter fun. Just because there's 2 feet of snow on the ground, it's so cold that when you throw water in the air, it freezes instantly, doesn't mean we stay inside and hibernate. We know how to find ways to get outside and enjoy the situation. I mean, whether you're a snowmobiler, you snowshoe, you ski, you hike, it doesn't really matter to us. We go out there and we have fun. I've seen guys drag racing on ice up in Merrill. I've seen dog sled races. We know how to get out and have fun and enjoy basically what's been given to us. And to be able to do that really takes a special bunch of people. And that's definitely describing us. We cut big holes in the ice and we jump in them for charity. So, I mean, we know how to have fun in the snow, and that's one of the things that I really love about this state. We find ways to make the most out of the situations that we're in, and we have fun doing them. And think about how long our winters are, and if you take advantage of all that fun, the winters aren't as long as what you think they are. So get out there, enjoy it with friends and family, and have fun this winter. Have fun every winter. Find something you like to do that'll get you out there and get you excited about being out there, because you know what? We make winter fun in Wisconsin, and I want you to make sure that you're having fun too. One of my favorite things about Wisconsin is our traditions. We are a very traditional state, and that goes back to when our ancestors all moved in this area. And we're very good at keeping those traditions alive with certain festivals, certain vacation destinations in this state. And we really honor our past with these traditions, and we're good at passing them on to our future generations. And a lot of this is more local, more family type. And, I'm thinking the family recipe that you guys have and that you passed on from generation to generation, especially this time of year. Think about this might be the only time of year you get a certain dessert or certain dish that maybe your great-grandmother made or your grandmother made, and now you've learned to make that, and you're passing that on to your kids. Or maybe your dad showed cattle at a fair, and now you're showing cattle at the fair, and it's something that your family keeps doing. Or maybe you go camping every year at the same spot where your parents camped, and whatever it is, we have a really good history of honoring that tradition. And I think that's important, because to know where we're going, you got to know where you've been. And part of that is honoring where you've been by keeping those things alive and going. And I think this time of year we're probably reminded more of those traditions because, we seem to make a point of that a little bit more, but this stuff really does happen throughout the year. And the key to keeping those things going is just passing them on to your kids. And the other thing is, don't be afraid to start new traditions. I mean, I've started traditions with my family, and I hope that my kids remember that and keep them going with their families when they get older. So keep them traditions alive, pass them on to the next generation, and tell the next generation about how it started, how things got going with your family and your family traditions, and remind them that that's one of the things about being a Wisconsinite, is having those traditions and living in those traditions. Perhaps my favorite thing about Wisconsin is the people. I'm reminded of this every time I visit a state park. I am so proud of the way people treat each other. We're always friendly, we're polite, and having kids, that is something that I really appreciate. I really appreciate how people are kind to me and my family when my kids might be struggling on a trail, need a break, get a little fussy if it's hot out. Everybody's been very kind, and this goes beyond just hiking on a trail. I think in general that Wisconsinites are very polite to each other and to others, and that really reflects well on us when people come from outside of Wisconsin to visit. I've heard this many times from people who don't live here, how polite and how thoughtful people are in this state. And to me, that is such a wonderful endorsement of Wisconsin and how we treat each other and how we treat others. And I think that's something that kind of goes back to the traditions of Wisconsin, that we keep passing that along to our families about being kind to one another, being helpful, because you know what? We're all here. We're all in it together. We should be kind to each other. I know sometimes we don't always agree on the same things, but at the same time, we still can be polite to each other, and we are. And I think that's just amazing that we can go places, see things, and always be helpful and happy and friendly. And that to me is the true testament of what being a Wisconsinite is. There you have it. Just a few of my favorite things that I love about Wisconsin and living in Wisconsin. I was born here. I was raised here. I don't plan on going anywhere. And I love experiencing new things. I love seeing new things in Wisconsin. And those things I want to share with you in the future. And hopefully you'll try those things and go see those things and share those things with everybody else. But now it's your turn. I want to know some of your favorite things about Wisconsin. Tell me your favorite place, even if it's a place to eat or go or camp or hike or whatever it is. I want to know what you love about Wisconsin. And you can tell me you just love the cheese curds and beer. That's fine because, hey, most of us do. But I really want to know what you think and you love about this state. So please, leave me a comment, send me a message, connect with me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Let me know what your favorite thing is about Wisconsin. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks again for listening to Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer. I'm your host, Jason, and I will talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to the Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. For more great information about being an outdoor explorer, visit our website at wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. Be sure to check out the blog page and follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.